Hello, Africa. This is once more Emmanuel, writer from SAFEX at the IITF 2025, the 4th edition, unfolding here in Algiers. And today we're receiving two impressive guests. On my right, we have Idir Sassi, the Algerian finance expert, who's been with us in the pre-IITF 2025 series. And to my left, we have a new special guest with us who's honoring us with his presence today, Mr. Worko from Ethiopia. He's the executive director of the Ethiopian Coffee Association. Welcome with us, sir.
Thank you.
And welcome with us, sir, as well.
Thank you, my pleasure.
So we're going to start our show today. As you know, we are broadcasting live coverage from the day 4 of the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025. For the next 20 minutes, we'll dive into one of the fair central themes, the economy in Africa, intra-African trade. So stay tuned as we explore how trade within Africa is unfolding. The Intra-African Trade Fair is more than just a platform or a workplace, and this is what we come to understand throughout the 4 days of the exhibition. And it's a platform for ideas, for partnerships, for networking, and with the African Continental Free Trade Area playing a massive role in connecting business to business, business to government, what we call B2B and B2G, right? So we'll dive and we'll be hearing from you as experts what's beyond that. And we're going to ask the first question that comes to our mind. What is from your perspective, what is the Intra-African Trade Fair reshaping, or how is it reshaping the regional economies, especially in North Africa and the Horn of Africa, and what sectors are showing the strongest potential? So we're going to start from my right, and then we come to our left.
Okay. This event is very important. It's the 4th one. Is coming after a certain change in the international trade, as everyone knows, and the entities are looking for solutions globally. And Africa is one of the most important solutions for the future because of demography, because of the growth, the potential of growth, because of the resources and the geostrategical place. Mm-hmm. This time, I'm looking, I saw some practical solution here in Algeria, because Algeria especially is a country having a free decision.
Yes.
Can make initiatives on implementation of certain solutions. If a solution will come from African countries, especially on finance, it will be great, because now, with AfCFTA Bank initiatives, for first time, we will see an African tool working with Africans for making solutions on the ground in Africa, which means from our proper
continent,
insight and our proper vision and priorities. Secondly, from the human perspective, we should have more and more those kind of initiatives, because as African, we really need to know each other. People, they should know each other. We have to open possibilities to travel for each country, culturally exchange, and know what is the priority for each country, but of course, and especially for the officials. And in the beginning of the event, I saw presidents panel talking to each other, talking about their country and making a mediation directly in the front of the people, which is a very important time for me as African.
It is an important time, and is the Horn of Africa present with us at this big event? And what is your perspective as an expert and as the director of the Association of Coffee in Ethiopia?
Thank you for such a very unique opportunity to me to speak about Ethiopia and Algeria, where I come for the first time to Algiers. To me, it is like getting out of the meeting hall for the first time, or mostly. We Africans, we speak, we discuss. It is in the meeting halls. Now we are getting out and getting to the real field, meeting B2B, B2G, solving the problems, for raising policy issues. That kind of things are, to me, it's very fantastic steps which every African country should follow and do it practically. Especially, dynamism should be there, improving the problems, and chasing everything, every problems and solving problems from each side, from the seller, the buyer. We meet it today. When I see the vastness of this exhibition, we start meeting. We start communicating. Visas should be free. Everybody should drive and go easily to any African country. That kind of things will improve, really alleviate problem or make people live a better life.
You mentioned two important points here. The first one is this is your first time in Algeria.
Yes.
So how is it going for you so far? How is your first visit?
It's amazing. It's very hot. The weather is very hot. It's coast area.
And you
I came from very highland, 2,600 above sea level.
So you find the weather here, the hot weather here, interesting.
Exactly. I got too much oxygen here because on high altitude the oxygen is less. But I brought coffee here.
It's interesting as we Algerians disagree with this hot weather and the humidity that's literally trying to, well, I'm going to say suffocate our breathing experience here. But the second important thing that you mentioned is the networking. So we're going to talk more about the networking, and we're going to talk about the finance, as it is an important and essential point when it comes to linking B2Bs. So as a lead-in finance, and here there is the biggest sponsor of this event, that is Afrexim Bank. But we can also see that the African Bank Development and the African Fund are also playing a crucial role when it comes to supporting SMEs and startups and other businesses here in Africa. So the question here is, how can these banks ensure that the opportunities reach businesses at grassroots levels, not just large corporations?
It's very important. I was starting by saying we should have and we start having local on-ground solution from Africans, which means it will facilitate business. It's pragmatic consideration. When you have your own tools, that means even in terms of risk consideration, it will be linked with your real life. It's not someone from European capital or somewhere will consider your local risk. Connections with our proper tools independently will definitely create more opportunities, and having behind businessmen and organizations tools like yesterday I saw creation of this fund for private sector is a very important thing to consider, and I will take a chance, this opportunity to talk about, we just talked on off, we are the second country consuming coffee in Africa, and they are the first producers.
Exactly.
And they have the best coffee worldwide, and we are not importing from them.
That's one of the issues, yes.
I think we should go to local traders, African trade platforms, because sometimes you have financial tools, we have companies, but the traders are somewhere in the world because of tax consideration, because of certain bureaucratic things. Why we cannot have our proper traders here in Algiers or in Addis Ababa or somewhere?
During the opening ceremony, Mrs. Awani, the executive vice director at Afrexim Bank, mentioned that there is a massive lack of information when it comes to neighbors. So you don't know what your neighbor is actually producing or importing or exporting, and that is one of the main issues why the intra-African trade is lacking. But this is also why the IITF was made under the AfCFTA. And here my next question comes. In your view, what practical steps must be taken in the next 5 years to ensure that the intra-African trade become the backbone of the continent's economy?
Let's read each other. Let's know each other. In such kind of exhibition, we meet, we understand, and we know what kind of requirements the buyers have or the sellers can offer. That kind of things we can see, and then we can move forward. That's my point. Like my friend said, the coffee. We are the biggest coffee producers in Ethiopia. In Africa, we can export. We only export 1 container, 2 containers per year for the last 10 years or more.
Decade, yeah.
So it is surprising to me. For the last 4 or 5 years, I was thinking that how I can knock the Algerian market, because you are the second largest coffee consumer in Africa.
Yes.
Ethiopia and Algeria, together, they make 50% of African coffee consumption.
Yes.
So
it's a big market.
If we don't meet, if Algeria and Ethiopia don't meet, So in Africa, business is not moving. So such kind of platform can solve that kind of problems.
Indeed. And what is your perspective?
It is definitely meeting each other is very important, knowing what the opportunities and risk, because as I was saying, when we create our proper agencies for risk enhancement, risk consideration, more information on the ground and inside information having, it will grow the trust. Because when you don't know the market, the trust, there is a lack of trust. We should build this trust, and trust B2B and B2G, of course, is something that can build more the trust, and we know knowing each other will reduce risk and create more bridges.
Indeed, indeed. And talking about risks, are there like risks of uneven growth between regions, and how do these risks could be managed?
It could be managed by, I like pragmatic approach from the Afrexim Bank. It's very important. Last year I saw that the African Union, they create the African Risk Management
Program.
Our proper agency. Of course, we are expecting foreign people to invest in Africa, but we are in the first step. Let's enhance, let's make it smooth for the trade exchange. It's the first step. And after the trade exchange, we will build the trust, we will build opportunities, and have the pragmatical tools, competitive tools, finance competitive tools. And after that, very probably investment will follow.
And that is something to look forward to. So before we conclude, any last word you'd like to say, Mr. Jizat Worko?
You know, the government institutions and like the banks, African Development Bank and Exim Bank, they have to evolve beyond what we expect, because they are the bridge who can make the buyer and seller meet and satisfy what they need. So to me, I need more involvement of the government, the policymakers and the banks, and then things will go smoothly between B2B go smoothly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jizat. Thank you for all your perspective today, and thank you for being with us. What about you, Mr. Sassi? Any last word that you'd like to add?
Let's have more and more opportunities to meet each other and know what is the expectation of each side.
Thank you, Mr. Sassi. Thank you for being present with us again, especially during this IITF 2025. And for you, these listeners, before we conclude, and there is one thing that we can say as we are concluding this show. So the Intra-African trade is not just about moving, as we already mentioned. It's about moving the Africa forward. It's about financing inclusive growth and building regional value chains and creating opportunities that could benefit Africa. So we have to move hand in hand to push this continent forward. And thank you for staying tuned throughout this episode until the very end. Thanks once again to Mr. Jizat Worko, the Executive Director of the Ethiopian Association, and to the Algerian finance expert, Mr. Idir Sassi, for being with us today. And for you, keep searching, keep curious, and keep the pulse alive. This is Emmanuel tuning out from the African Pulse.